Good evening, everyone. This is Dion Brown, licensed clinician, coming to you tonight with the very first installment of our live journal tour. We recently released a men's journal, a 30-day prompted journal called Navigating Non-Negotiable Self-Care. This is a 30-day journey for men to go through an exploration process in areas such as exercise, um, nutrition, rest, sleep, mental health, communication, healthy leisure activities, medical attentiveness, etc., etc. It is a prompted journal, so it enables you to be able to write in it. And so, what we're going to do tonight with this first installment is that we're going to talk about navigating exercise and self care. And we're going to look at that from a number of perspectives. Navigating exercise through self care. So, what we've done is we've brought together a friend and colleague where we're going to explore some dimensions of exercise and self care together. So, I'm going to take a few moments just to share a few things about him. He's been on our broadcast before, but we're now going to bring him in to talk about this with men and navigating exercise. This is streaming live on Facebook, uh, YouTube, and Instagram. It is streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. So please like and share. So without further ado, let me introduce our guest, Mr. Clifton Bright. Mr. Clifton Bright is a licensed clinical professional counselor, mentor, life coach, and consultant, and now an author. And he's located in Harford County, Maryland. He's worked with men from all walks of life and discovering his God-given purpose for every man and helping men understand their purpose. His passion is to help men strengthen their knowledge of their identity so they can function in their purpose. Clifton has been married for over 18 years and has three wonderful children. He's also a member of the Spirit of Faith Christian Center in Baltimore, Maryland, and serves as a usher. Clifton has founded Bright House Counseling and Coaching. His private practice provides mental health and life coaching services rather, focused on helping men to heal families, communities, and nations. And without further ado, I'm going to bring Mr. Clifton Bright into the space with us. Hello, sir. Men to heal families, community. Hello, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I am good. I am good. I'm so glad that you've been able to join us. I know your schedule is busy like mine, but you're able to be here with us to talk about a subject that is near and dear to both of us. Uh, exercise. It's a very important and key subject. So I think we'll be able to look at it and explore this subject in a plethora of different ways. Before we do that, I have an initial question for you.
Yes,
Did you
sir.
did you exercise today?
Oh, I did. I
Okay,
did.
all right. What did
Yeah,
you
I
do?
definitely did. Now, we know exercise takes on different forms, right?
True,
But my main exercise, and I think yours too, is we hit the gym, we hit the weights, right?
absolutely.
We go lift, we do cardio, which I'm looking to expand, but mainly it's lifting. So, yep, I hit it this morning. Got there around, I guess, around 5 this
Wow.
morning. So yeah, I usually get there between 4:30 and 5, 5 to 6 days a week. Uh, Saturday, I kind of stagger it a little later. I might get there around 6:37. Just depends.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you had a pretty good workout today.
I did. Chest and tries, brother. Chest and tries.
Okay. Um, Friday over the last 3 weeks or so has been my systematically my cardio day. So I'm trying to trying to spend some time getting in some cardio on a regular basis, kind of like a hyperextend the maybe hopefully the fat burning process just a little bit. So
I
all
got
right,
you.
all right. So tonight we're talking about navigating exercise and self care. So let's jump on in, and I'll say this periodically. Those that are tuning in through Facebook, Facebook Live, I believe you should be able to make comments, ask questions, etc. So on YouTube and Instagram. So um, in my first in my book, actually my book a few years ago, Non-Negotiable Self-Care. One of the things I talked about as part of the self-care, what I like to coin the self-care core four. One of the things that I talked about was the notion of movement. So
Hmm.
let's discuss exercise in general. And in our culture and in our society, some people exercise and some people do not. I think both of us being guys who work out at gyms, we see all ages of people working out, in all sorts of fitness levels, as people try to navigate toward greater self care. Particularly, what's important is looking at men and men getting engaged in some type of movement. Um, in a general sense, as a man, and I'll share some perspectives too. What what do you think? Because there's a good amount of men that are exercising and working out, but then you know there's a good amount that are not. So I guess in general, um, in your perspective, what's one or several things that you think make it kind of difficult for men to um, engage in some sort of exercise activity?
I think the number one thing is, you can break it down in categories. I think for men that are, you know, early adulthood, but especially like middle adulthood, a lot of times it's time constraints,
Hmm.
you know. So you get caught up with all these things you have to do. You may have to work. You may be married, or even if you're single, you or dating or in a relationship, committed relationship, you may struggle with finding the time to really prioritize exercise. Uh, you may have physical stuff going on, which hinders you or may impact your ability to exercise. Or some people just don't see the benefits of it, or may see it as something that might be a hobby that you like if they like playing video games, or if they like reading, or if they like engaging in other things, they may see it as just a hobby and really might not fully know the impact that it can have on you holistic health wise,
Gotcha.
meaning wrapping around every area, physically, emotionally, mentally, impacting all those areas. So they may not prioritize it. But I think the number one thing is when I talk to men about incorporating exercise in their holistic healthcare, they normally say, when am I going to fit that in?
Mm.
I got to work. I got this. I got that. Uh, I don't have time to fit it in. I don't have time to do that. I got 100 other things to do. If I was a bodybuilder or something, then I wouldn't worry about fitting it in, especially if I was a professional one and I'm getting paid.
Yeah. What we do know definitely it does take some sort of effort to engage in a regular exercise program. And I talk with a lot of people about that. I think the time constraints is definitely one of the things that can be a barrier hindrance for people in navigating toward a greater self care through exercise, and taking care of themselves and setting some self care time aside. Is you have to put it somewhere. For me, it has to be in the morning because of my work life and my schedule. However, have clients who like to work out late at night, like 9 or 10, won't work for me. But
I'm
people
not going to bed.
people are going to be up, right? Going to be up in charge. So people are very different with that. But yes, I 100% agree with you. The time constraints for people make it very challenging for people to you know utilize as my shirt says, and I'll make references to it throughout the night. Working out is really, it really is self care, and there's a number of ways to do that. Yeah. So, let's talk about exercise and the results on our physical health. Um, One of the things that's really important for all men listening and those that will hear the replay, it's very important concerning your physical health. And in the journal, a little later in the journal, we get into medical attentiveness. That's pretty important because one of the things that I ask men often is, do you have a primary care doctor, or are you going and are you following the instructions? Do you have a specialist that you're seeing and you're supposed to be listening to them and following them? So that becomes pretty important also. But exercise is pretty important, or movement is pretty important to our physical health and our physical well-being. Um, we know that it helps with things like blood pressure, and it helps with trying to ward off health complications and diabetes and chronic illnesses that people have to deal with, and arthritis and a host of other health-related issues. As we see people start to come in, remember you can make a comment or ask a question, and we'll try to address it as well. Physically, physically. Well, let's go personally first. Physically, what's some of your physical benefits for you exercising?
Physical benefits for me is, you know, body image, first of all.
Mm.
You know, not that body image is that end all be all. And, people tend to think men don't have body dysphoria or body image issues, but we do. Like for instance, you see, I don't know if you've noticed how many young people work out now.
I have.
Yeah. When I used to work out in college, because my best friend tried to get me to work out in high school, and I would always say, "Nah, man, I'm not lifting. I don't need to lift. I'm a basketball player." If I'd have listened to him, Dion, I could have went further with the basketball thing because the muscle mass would have definitely helped. But you see all these young people working out today, and it's very much something that they use to build their self esteem and their self image. They want to look strong, you know. They want to present uh, strong. They do comparisons on one another now, you
Oh,
know.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. It's also it's the physical aesthetics as well.
right.
Wanting to look like so we know, because me and you are not as young as we used to be, you know, we right, we know that there's a tremendous physical benefits to
Right.
exercise, and we have the men, as they go through the journal, explore what those physical benefits are for them and challenge them to do better, get a primary care doctor. But yeah, younger generations, it's definitely about aesthetics and how it looks. We did get a comment in from a faithful follower, Mr. Lamar. Says, I currently do not have a primary care doctor anymore. I need a good one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do see that happening sometimes with people. For whatever reason, people have had a primary care doctor, and you know
Yeah.
that changes. So definitely encourage you to move quickly, Mr. Lamar, and trying to locate another one.
Yeah. I would
So
say post COVID, it seems like it's gotten more difficult to really hook up with a primary care physician if you didn't have one.
hmm
And it seems like it's harder to even get appointments now.
I can see that.
Yeah. Like when you go schedule, they're scheduling you 6 to 8 months out. And a lot of managed care seems to be overwhelmed. Like I go through a part of Hopkins system for my primary care. And most of the time I could get appointments. It'd be no problem. But I had to wait like 6 months after I turned 50 to get my
Mm.
50-year-old physical.
Oh my.
So yeah, so I mean, I definitely hear where Lamar is coming from. It's challenging seems to be challenging now to find that primary care physician. But you asked me about the physical aspects of it for me. One of the physical aspects is I believe it helps with aging. It helps me physically have more energy and to be able to uh, not only not only sustain myself throughout the day, but to actually feel like I'm going through the day strong.
Yeah.
You know, and you're seeing all these studies. I think there's a young lady that's on IG, Doctor. I don't know if it's Dr. Nicole or Dr. Irene, that talks about how muscle mass is increasing life longevity and how it's having all these great physical effects on, your cardiovascular system, on your
Absolutely.
organs, and it's helping people live longer and live stronger. So I'm seeing it as it benefits me, like I said, adding the life longevity, being physically stronger, helping to maintain my energy levels throughout the day. But also, the benefit of it is nobody really thinks I'm my age either.
Mm,
Every time I tell somebody I'm 50, they don't believe me.
same.
Yeah. So it's like I contribute some of that to, staying in shape and really pushing, really pushing my physical limits and challenging myself in the gym. So if you look at exercise across the board, people that play tennis, people that play basketball, you know, people that may run, or even people that walk on a daily basis, it physically it can affect how you see yourself. You know,
It does for sure.
yeah,
And
it does.
a person's confidence. Some people listening might be new to the notion of trying to navigate exercise and self care. You know, I'm new. I don't know what to do, where to start, where to begin. How do I start? Navigating um, toward um, greater self care and exercise. So, let's say that like we talked about before, we both go to the gym, and that's the gym is great because it's um, there's strength training and there's cardio and there's social aspects, but that's not the only way that people can engage in systematic exercise, right?
Exactly.
Right?
Definitely not.
People, right? People walk, people run, they cycle, they swim, they do Zumba, aqua Zumba, they do Pilates, they do yoga, they,
Yoga.
they do hot yoga, which I want to do at some point. They do,
me
yeah,
too.
they do a lot. So, um, and then there are certain gyms, also gym brands, I would say, that are even kind of, maybe, if people want to use a gym, there's certain gym brands that are kind of more so geared maybe to a beginner, like a Planet Fitness, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think with Planet Fitness, I know when I started back working out,
Hmm.
I started back at a Planet Fitness, and my doctor told me I was grossly overweight at the time. I think sometimes that measurement can be kind of skewed. I'm 6'5". So even during that time frame and that time period, I was a lot heavier than I may have looked to people. But they go by body mass index and things of that nature, to measure that. And a place like Planet Fitness, they market themselves as a judgment free zone. So as opposed to some other commercial gyms, a lot of times you can come in there and you won't feel as much intimidation as working out at, let's say, a Gold's or maybe a Exile Fitness gym, where you have professional bodybuilders and uh, or people who seriously, they may not be professional, but they seriously dive into the craft of bodybuilding, where you might look at them and wonder, what am I doing in here? So Planet Fitness is a good place to start because, like you were saying, like if you're a beginner, where do you start? You start small.
Absolutely.
You
Got
start
it.
small. You don't start I'm not getting any physical exercise or movement really, and you say, I'm gonna start walking 7 days a week.
Ooh.
What's probably gonna happen is you may start about one or two and then you fall off versus gradually building
Hmm.
towards having consistency. So it's really, as a beginner, you want to maybe find something that you feel comfortable doing or something you may have done in the past and you've kind of, life has gone on, it's kind of led you in different directions, but it may have been something that you engaged in regularly, maybe when you were younger or in early adulthood, and you really felt comfortable there, like you said, if swimming or walking or yoga.
Yep.
You find something that fits you
You got to.
and you start small. You start small. Some people do well if they engage in the activity with somebody else. Some people do well, just engaging in it solo. You try to find the thing that fits you, but you want to get something. Honestly, even dancing,
Hmm.
even though we might not totally categorize that as exercise, it's still movement, right?
Right.
So that can be something that maybe a person engages in. But yeah, if you're definitely a beginner, you want to start small. Uh, you want to commit to starting a regiment that you really feel like you can lock in
Agreed.
and build some consistency and progressively increase that.
Agree. Got a comment about that.
What's up?
He put. He said he works on a youth detention center jail, transporting juveniles most of the day, Monday through Friday. And so by the time he gets off, I'm ready to go to the house. I know I've got to push myself to get back into going to the gym somehow. It's a challenge. Definitely need to lose some weight for sure. Thank you for your honesty about that.
Sure.
And yeah, it is a push. I think for me and Cliff, who tend to work out in the morning, there are mornings we don't feel like leaving the house to drive to the gym.
Right.
Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, I think people think if you go really consistently, that every morning you wake up like, let's go. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to crush it.
Mm,
But there are some days you don't feel like going. But we're talking about self care. And when you think about self care is giving yourself what you need in a variety of ways.
absolutely.
So a lot of times it's just reminding myself that I've committed to a vision that I have for myself concerning working out, but also the benefits of it. I don't really want to do therapy without having worked out in the morning.
I understand that.
Yeah, it allows me to show up more present for clients. It allows me to ground and center myself.
Absolutely. Same here.
Yeah.
Same.
So it's something that, and I know your phrase which you love, non-negotiable. It's something that's it's something that's become non-negotiable for me. It's it, I I've said it as, there is no what if, unless there's something that's really pressing that I have to engage in, or sometimes on a rare occasion my body will say, "Hey, we need to rest," right? And I'm getting better at listening to my body
Good.
instead of just trying to push through and I'm a man up and gut it out. But for the most part, it comes down to uh, recognizing the importance of it, prioritizing it, and setting up a system that works for you. Hence, why I'm at there. That's why I'm there 5 o'clock in the morning. If I try to go any other time, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and you'd be really slacking because the other times wouldn't be in line with what works for you.
Exactly. I
You know,
wouldn't get to the gym because I can't come in the house after working and then get in and say, okay, guys, I'm going to the gym. I'm like, nah, you're crazy. We want our time,
true, very true,
you know?
very true.
Yeah, we want our time. We need you to show up. I want to show up and be present.
Yeah,
So it's about identifying that time where I can give me what I need
yeah,
because the better you take care of you, Dion,
that's
the
right.
better version of you can show up and take care of others.
100%. You know, I preach that to no end, right? Constantly.
Yes, sir.
So definitely 100%. You know, and we talked about the fact that some people, some men exercise, some men don't, and there are real world consequences if we don't engage in some type of movement. Like we said, there's a lot of different options on the table, but if we don't have some sort of steady approach to exercise as a core part of our self care, um, my you know, one of these other segments we're going to be delving into nutrition, and my greatest struggle is I'm a foodie, so my greatest struggle is food and what I eat. um, God forbid if I did not have a steady, and I'm fine tuning my nutrition now, but if I did not have some sort of steady plan and approach to working out, I don't know. We still need to lose weight presently, but I don't know what that would look like. And I have praised the Lord. I have no known health issues or problems at
Mhm.
all presently. And there's some, I'm aware of the ones that are within my family system, but sometimes engaging in the healthy behavior of a steady exercise program helps stave off medical problems. I will
Right.
say about 7 to 8 years ago, I had high blood pressure and
Mhm.
was on high blood pressure medicine. Adjusted my diet, started working out regularly. Blood pressure leveled out really sweetly. My doctor would constantly say, "You're, I was on medicine for a bit." He was at the point we went off because of what I was doing, responsibility that I was taking, exercising regularly and my nutrition. And he kept saying, "Your blood pressure is sweet." So yeah, we can have a number of in your worldview, things you've seen with people. What type of health conditions, particularly as we age, do you see people kind of setting themselves up for who don't put in the effort?
Well, you see high blood pressure, like you
Yeah,
stated. You see diabetes because you have one type of diabetes that often can be treated with losing weight, uh, addressing your nutrition. So you'll see that. Uh, Not exercising can affect blood flow. You know, so it can help with your cardiovascular system. It can help with your breathing. You know,
that's
your
true.
yeah, your ability to engage in being able to do things that require uh, physical output and endurance. So it can have an effect on your heart.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes, sir. Movement too. Movement,
know,
right? Being able to move around, and quality of life
exactly.
as we get
Uh,
older.
I'll just make sure I ain't cut you off.
No,
you
you're
know,
good.
skeletor, the effects that muscle has on your skeletal parts of your body, uh, hip movement, elbow joints, knees. Like you said, being able to move around, quality of life, not needing support to be able to get around. It can be really preventive having an exercise regimen in place.
Agreed, for sure. So there's a lot of physical benefits for exercise, and a lot of things that exercise physically can help ward off as far as health problems and complications. So, and and that's one of the things that we have people explore in the journal. If you don't have a copy, make sure you get your copy on Amazon of Navigating Non-Negotiable Self-Care. We do talk about exercise and physical health. All right. And we're going to switch gears just a little bit to talk about both me and Mr. Cliff's favorite subject, or one of them, is mental health.
Yes, sir.
Mental health. Mental health. What? There's a relationship between me having an exercise schedule, program, agenda, and my mental health? Absolutely. Absolutely. There's been a lot of documented research about the positive benefits for exercise on a person's mental health and mental wellness. It's also beneficial for our mind and our body.
Right.
I know personally, and I'm sure you can also agree, um, when I exercise, particularly for me, when I start my day that way, and I go through the different changes that happen in my body and in my mind and in my chemicals in my body from the exercise, I feel better,
Right.
and I am ready and prepared to start the day. And it's like, yes, right? Let's talk. Let's talk. I talk with clients about. I'm sure you do too. About this with a lot with exercise, and um, so can exercise, in your view as a licensed therapist doing this work with loads of people, can exercise mentally help people cope and manage stress?
Oh, it definitely can. Exercise has a great effect on, cortisol levels,
Mm.
which is a stress hormone. Uh, and it raises and releases more serotonin and endorphins. So if you think about it, like a lot of people are on medications uh, for for psychotropic
Yes.
drugs, for
Yeah.
anxiety, depression, uh, mainly to treat chemical imbalances, right?
They
Because
are.
that's what they look and aim to address. Hence that abbreviation, right? SSRI,
Yes, sir.
serotonin sub reuptake inhibitors. So serotonin is a hormone in your body that gets released that helps you feel good, feel at peace, relax. And it's been seen in research that people that deal with depressive symptoms oftentimes have a reduction in the release of it. And the medication that people take is intended to raise the production of serotonin levels, hence giving people an opportunity to feel better, to engage in some things that they may struggle with having motivation or drive to do. And when you exercise, it also has that natural effect of raising those levels and reducing cortisol. Matter of fact, a lot of research is showing now that exercise is having somewhat of the same effects as medication for
Mm.
some people in dealing with their mental health issues and
Yep.
challenges. So,
It really is beneficial to kind of setting affecting a person's mood. We talk a lot. We know we many of us are familiar with runners and the runners high that
mhm,
runners get, and it really does impact and affect people who may run regularly, but it doesn't just happen to runners. It's all types and forms of exercise that you can engage in. So you want to be able to manage stress better. You want to be able to cope better, think more clearer, process better, have a reduction in your levels of depression and anxiety.
mhm,
Try to engage in some sort of systematic exercise regimen.
right.
You know, because
And,
your
and
mental health matters. Go ahead, sir.
I was going to say, think about, and I'm pretty sure you've ran across at least one or two men who have said, the gym is my therapy.
I have.
Yeah. And you'll see it all over social media. You'll see memes and everything. Like the gym is my therapy. And as a clinician, I have to tell them the gym is not your therapy.
Facts.
Hate to say it to you, uh, but as somebody that works out as much as I do, I understand that the gym is not my therapy. What the gym is, though, is it can be therapeutic,
Hmm.
you know. So it can be something that helps enhance your mood or elevate or reduce stress. It can make you feel better, right?
It does.
But I have never had a gym session that has addressed any traumatic wounds,
No.
uh,
Nope.
anything that, any barriers that are going on, any relationship issues I've had, you know. So it's allowed me to have clarity, but I've never addressed any issues in my life through a workout session. I felt better.
Yeah, absolutely. To your point, though, on the flip side of that, unfortunately, with sometimes being in different gym locations, and I've learned um, to not precisely tell people what I do in the gym because on the flip side of that, I've been pulled in to do a therapy session in the gym with people, uh, gym floor, sauna, you name it.
Right.
Um, with the statement, I know you're not working right now, but what do you think
Right.
about right? That ever happened to you?
Oh, it definitely has. And I mean, it's cool. I get it. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I get it. Like, uh, my accountant used to go to the same gym as me,
Mm,
and you're not going to get me to get on here and lie and say I haven't asked him financial and tax questions while we were in the gym working out. So I get why people do it. Part of you is like, part of you is excited that they feel comfortable enough to maybe ask you some questions and address some things. But for you, it's like a boundary thing is you don't want to do that because that's not what I'm here for. And I do therapeutic work, but that's not the entirety of who I am.
yeah,
And you want to keep those things separated so you can just be in that space.
absolutely.
Yeah.
With exercise, it can mentally, it can even help. Many people struggle with rather one being bombarded with a whole lot of thought, so that their mind is cloudy, or even I say there's a lot, on their mind.
Mhm.
Um, it might not be the complete end result of what needs to happen, but exercise can certainly help clear a person's thoughts and their mind, make them more clear in their thinking.
Right.
Um, the process and that whole journey, and then even maybe the relaxing afterwards. So relaxation, maybe in like a sauna or a whirlpool, or if a gym has a steam room. Those things can be helpful too, not just physically but
Right.
mentally. I have a few gym brand memberships, should be in better shape than I am, but I have access to saunas and steam rooms and whirlpools. So
Okay.
those things become good for relaxation on a day you just want to go relax, or the day you finish your workout as well.
Right.
Something you said earlier, which taps into a direction I was going into. So particularly this year, with a lot of things happening in I stopped saying the world because it's not the world, but a lot of things happening in America. Okay,
Okay.
let me clarify that. A lot happening here at home in America. There's a lot of anxiety, a
Mhm.
lot of depression. People are trying to manage stress. Now, can't I just go to? Can I just, if I have a mild to moderate level of anxiety, stress, depression, can I just go for a run and that's it, or can I just exercise and that's it, or do I really can I just do that basically instead? Can I do that instead of going to therapy or to a support group?
I mean,
That's a question, isn't it?
that is a question. I mean, you could find that that's enough, right? Like you said, depending on the severity of what you have going on, you know.
Yeah, true. It's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
it's true. But like I said, that's why it's therapeutic, right? It definitely can make you feel better.
Yes, sir.
And a person might say that's enough for them. I'm very much a person where I want people to be engaged in the therapeutic process. I don't like when people feel forced into the therapeutic process because they tend to show up differently in the space, right?
They do.
It's like it's that it's like they're trying to pull away or they're trying to push you away and they don't really get to just lock in and just flow into space. So, I mean, like you said, that's a question. I mean, you could benefit from it and feel better in the interim, uh,
Yeah,
but will it from a long lasting basis?
I got you. Understand.
Will it help? It often ends up being a part of your care, right?
Yep.
But in some cases, you may need more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What I will say about that, with the management of stress and anxiety and depression, imagine somebody combining both combining both therapy and exercise.
Right.
Right, you're covering the bases.
Mm-hmm.
One of my clients recently said that to me. He said, I'm coming here to get my mind right, and then I'm going to the gym."
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So we got a comment again from Mr. Lamar. You mentioned the motivation and self to do earlier. I really believe that has to be why as the end goal, whether there's a workout partner present to push an individual or not. If you have a why, yes, if you have a
Mm-hmm.
why and stay committed to that, it will be your biggest motivation. True. One of my friends, you know who he is, Mr. Kenneth Clemens Cliff. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he would I think he'll be joining us for nutrition. Um, he would always talk to me in great detail as far as discovering your why you have your goals. You know why
Right.
you're right internally for you.
Mm-hmm.
What's your motivation? What's the reason for you? And that why varies per person. Some people,
Right.
the younger crowd, they want it's aesthetics. The guys they want to rip off their shirts and look ripped, and they want to get girls and all of that stuff. It just kind of depends on your why. What's your motive? So the
Yeah.
why can motivate you.
It does. And motivation gets you going, and the commitment
Hmm.
gets you there. You know, for me, part of why I do train as hard as I do, honestly, when I walk my daughter down the aisle, Dion,
Mm.
I want to walk her down swole, just straight up.
Okay.
As wild as it may sound, I want,
I love the honesty.
yeah, I want her future husband to look and be like, yeah,
Hope he's in shape.
yeah.
Because boy,
But it adds to, like we said earlier, quality of life, right?
yep,
Yeah. You you know that old saying, you're as old as you feel, right?
facts.
And part of it is, I do feel like it slows down the aging process. Also, on a on a note, when you're looking at when I started working out again, seriously about probably about close to 7 years ago, right?
Hmm.
I noticed that when I locked in and really got committed and really got structured, that commitment started to bleed over in all the areas of my life. So that's another aspect of it when I look at working out, exercising, how committing to a regular exercise routine, it becomes kind of that thing of how you are in one thing, you are in everything.
True.
So the confidence that can get built in maintaining and sticking to your goals and your why can have
Absolutely.
these other effects in your life.
Agreed. 100%
Yeah.
for sure. And one of the things in the first few pages of the journal, if you don't have it, you can go get it. One of the things that we talk about is the take you through an exploration where you're thinking and writing. Every day of the 30 days, you have a 1 minute video of me. You scan the QR code, and then I'm talking about that subject. So we take you through some exploration questions in reference to your physical health, and your mental health in the journal in the first few pages of the 30 days. That's why you see the gentleman in the driver's seat. He is navigating or driving toward greater self-care in those areas.
Right.
And last but not least, since we are talking about men and self-care,
Mhm.
um, we also talk about, which comes up in sessions with clients, the connection between exercise and sexual health. Exercise and sexual health. Um, Sexual health could be an entire panel discussion all by itself,
Right.
particularly when it comes to men, because there's so much to unpack and, and to deal with, right? And cultural messaging and anxieties and fears and feelings, and it's a lot. But um, it's I'm thinking because I can go a few different ways with this question. Um, it is my belief. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. The way that came to me was perfect to phrase how I want to phrase it. It is my belief that people who have better physical conditioning tend to have a um, more desirable sex life. That was excellent. Yeah. What are your thoughts about that?
I definitely think there is, and we don't do absolutes
Yeah.
because there may be some people who uh, don't have the best, might not be in the best physical shape, who may have
True.
tremendous sex lives, right?
Absolutely.
But it definitely helps. You think about in terms of when you talk about men that may be dealing with erectile dysfunction issues and things of that nature, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes that can be uh, sometimes that can be a mental thing where they may have performance anxiety or they may be dealing with depression. They may be taking medications that are affecting it. Uh, but one of the things that really gets improved is blood flow
True.
when you're working out. Uh, Libido often raises when you're working out regularly, when you have an exercise routine. Uh, Once again, body image.
Yep.
Do you like what you see when you look at you? Like this, what's that? They had those T-shirts and stuff that were like, "Look good naked." I'm training so I can look good naked.
Yep.
You
People mean
know,
that. And people
yeah,
mean
yeah. They're not playing. So it's like, you know, regular exercise can help with that. You know, like I said, increase libido, increased desire has been seen with people who have regular exercise routines.
better stamina.
Yeah, better stamina. Better shape,
It's
better stamina.
no, no, really, there really is. It's
Better options.
just true. All well, you know
Yeah.
what? That's true. All of that.
Well,
All
no, let me clarify the options thing. Because I'm married, I have no options but one.
facts, facts, facts.
So, let me clarify. I'm talking in terms of, like you said, what you can do.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah.
clarifying.
What you
That's
can
true.
do,
That's true.
you
That's
know.
very true. Um, no, you're right. I mean that definitely makes sense. Whew. So, it's interesting because you look at you start your mind starts to think about all the connectivities between exercise and fitness and your shape and back to movement again.
Right.
Because when people come together physically, there's movement and there's
Right.
movements, and that taps into a lot of things. There's issues with movement and stamina and flexibility,
Right.
and it's it's a lot of stuff that's connected, and I think but it affects all of that stuff. So the better, because of the whole mind body dichotomy, it's
Right.
all connected and related. Dwayne Newman said absolutely, and I think Lamar said, does exercise help with, yes,
Yep.
building,
He
yes,
hit that on the head. Because what they
and
say,
yes, and
uh,
lasting long sexually, yes, it does.
yeah.
It does. Actually, research that's indicated that my favorite, it shows that my favorite day of the week, which everybody's not everybody's favorite, but I love leg day. That legs and working legs really helps build testosterone. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, so it does. It's all related and connected. People who are married and have companions, exercise is physical, and when people come together physically with their companion, there's physicality to that as well.
Right.
And like you said, it helps increase options. I'm gonna be PG. It helps increase options.
Look, it's all grown folk.
It is absolutely,
But
absolutely.
also on the testosterone thing, right? As men, they say, what's the what do they consider the norm when we get in our mid 30s? They say our testosterone starts to drop.
It does.
Yeah. And regular exercise can help maintain those levels.
It can. It
Yeah.
can.
Even though, as much as we deal with insecurities and everything, and oftentimes men don't feel like they have the space
Mhm.
to talk about the things they feel insecurities and they worry about, you know, testosterone is such a huge thing. I, I encourage men, get your testosterone levels checked because
Absolutely.
it can affect your mood and everything as well. It can affect mood. It affects fat loss,
It
you know.
does.
And if a man needs like testosterone replacement,
Yep.
shouldn't be something that a man should feel like it's taboo or feel like they're less of a man,
No.
because it can increase their quality of life,
Hmm. Yeah.
So
And I will say along those lines, and I talk about that in the book, not the first the book. We're talking about the journaling, going through the journal, but in the book, for men, you know, hormone replacement. There's a few out, and there's a lot of stuff. There was a lot of stuff out for women, kind of like anti-aging things, but now there's a good amount of stuff out for men as well. So it's called Bio T. Bio T is now it's a pellet therapy. It's pellets that are injected under the skin. It's called BioT, and I have a friend who's an MD and got the information about that. So it's an anti-aging for men, and there's legit clinics that look at your hormonal levels and optimize your hormones. And sometimes men could have too much estrogen, or and not enough testosterone. So it's BioT is a very popular cutting edge. It's unfortunately not covered by insurance. It's out of pocket, but My friend was an MD. He started doing it in his practice in his state. He started offering it to his clients, and so that is something that is available as men age as well. Um, but it's as we see, exercise affects us physically, mentally, and sexually as men.
Right.
That's pretty important.
It's majorly important, right? It's a major part of your life. It's a major aspect of your life. It's it's something that uh, I hope we start to prioritize more
Yeah,
as men, because we're pillars of our community, right?
we are.
We want men strong, spiritually, physically, emotionally,
Mhm.
mentally, uh, just like we want men healed and whole. You know, so
We do.
it's
And
it's.
go ahead.
I just want to say it's an important aspect and pillar of that.
Yeah. And one thing we cannot stop doing is aging. You know, there's no mystical Disney fountain of youth. I would have been drank the water.
There's no Marvel character whose power is the stop you from aging.
Not one. I
Yeah,
wish I could locate that person. Yeah, there's not one. But we can, through our own locus of control, right? Our locus of control, what we can control, and our power. You know, I'm going to I'm going to go work out somewhere else tomorrow. So not where you think, but somewhere else tomorrow. But I, that's a part of our locus of control. we
right.
can't we can't control aging, but we can control what we do as far as to counter the some of the effects of aging and its effect on us physically, mentally, and sexually. So we are just about out of time. 1 minute actually to spare, but this has been a great discussion
Yes,
for
sir.
sure. I'm definitely going to repost this and encourage people all week to check this out. It's public on my Facebook page. It's on my YouTube channel, DMV Therapist, and it's still streaming on Instagram right now. And a bunch of people have logged on to IG. If you do not have my new project, Navigating Non-Negotiable Self-Care, it's called a Black Man's Journey, 30-day self-care improvement journey. But anybody can use it. It's specifically geared toward Black men. It takes you on a 30-day journey in 10 key areas, key subjects. Every day there's a prompt, there's a QR code. You can grab it from Amazon. It will definitely be beneficial to your life. Um, oh, did we get another comment? Wait a minute. uh, Oh, people were just saying they appreciate the invite to tonight's discussion, sir.
Yes, sir.
Well, actually, before I have you do that, one last thing. Um, this is my QR code. If it, let me see if I can. Let me move that out the way. Yep, cool. So this is my QR code. I have a free monthly newsletter with self care tools and tips, mental health, incorporating mental health and spirituality. So if you are online right now, on Facebook, you're on IG, YouTube, you can scan this QR code and it will take you to a few little checkbox questions, and you will start to get the free newsletter of the self care therapist every month, beginning next month. Okay. So the QR code is up there. I'll leave that up there for a moment. Mr. Cliff, any parting words for our listening audience?
Yes, I would tell you, no matter where you are in your exercise regimen or routine, if you're somebody that is regularly incorporating exercise in various forms, continue to do so. Recognize that you can continue to grow in it. If you have not started, right now, later on tonight, or tomorrow will be a great time to start. It's about you living life to the fullest. This is not your whole life, but it's an aspect of your life which influences various areas of what makes you you.
Mm,
So it's not too late, but also understand the only moment you have guaranteed is right now. So where you may be putting things off and saying, I'll get to that soon, why not start now? Why not start tomorrow? It can very well put you on a trajectory to live the best life you can possibly live.
absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. So this is has been great discussion. Thank you for all of our guests who have tuned in on Facebook, and Instagram, and YouTube. We're going to be here every month for the next 9 months, going through the 10 content areas in the journal. So this was the first area, exercise. Thank you, sir, for coming and sharing your time and your
Thank you
your
for having
support,
me, sir.
your expertise. Oh, forever, all the time. Again, lastly, make sure if you don't have your copy of this journey, this process, this journal rather. We're actually going to be beginning a 30-day self-care challenge. I did develop a private Facebook group. And there's about 60 guys in that group. I'll be posting every day. They'll be talking, sharing, interacting. If you would like to be a part of that Facebook group on Facebook, you can find me under Dion Brown. You can DM me a request, and I will send you an invite to that private Facebook group. It's going to be April 15th through um, May 15th. All right. So I want to say good night to everybody, and we will see you next time. Take care.